Welcome, passengers. Tisket a tasket, what's in the basket? Today I have onions, thyme, butter, bread, white wine, that beef stock we made the other day, and a mystery ingredient. Anchors away, we're cruising with Chef Matt. Let's get cooking. Let's not forget about the mystery ingredient, cheese. Today we are making a dining room favorite, French onion soup. And let's not kid ourselves. I think the only reason why we all eat it is because we love the gooey cheese on top of it. That's why when you order it, you have to make sure that it says French onion soup, gratin, or have like a description of the melted cheese on it. Because if not, you're just going to get plain onion soup. And I think you're going to be disappointed. And a little side note, if you're a vegetarian and you don't want to use, you're not using beef stock, use vegetable stock. As well as, it's not just made with beef stock. Some regions in France actually use chicken stock, and some places use a mixture of chicken stock and beef stock. What that's going to do is make it sweeter. Did some research, like where onion soup came from, where it originated from. And it's funny, it's one of those things that's been around for such a long time. You don't know what the truth is. But from what I read, it's Roman and Greek back in the ancient eras. The other thing I read, which is kind of funny, King Louis was a pretty busy guy. And I guess he was on a hunting trip, and one night he was hungry. Picture that. And he went for that midnight snack, and he only had onions, champagne, and butter. And my favorite thing that I found out is Alexander Dumas, who wrote one of my favorite novels, Count of Monte Cristo, also wrote, and I had this translated to English because last thing I want to do is butcher the French language the way I butcher English with my Brooklyn, Staten Island accent. He wrote the book, The Greek Dictionary of Cuisine, and it mentions onion soup in the book. See, I told you I butcher the language. All right, so let's get cooking with this. All right, guys, we're going to start off. I have this on a very low flame. We don't want to burn the onions. We want a nice light brown. So I'm using all this butter. Where is Paula Deen? Oh, should I even say her name? So I'm going to melt this butter. Turn the flame up just for a little bit. This is almost like risotto. This is something that's going to take time. Thyme, one of the ingredients in it as well. All right, so I got the butter melting. Okay, guys, I got this butter melted, so I'm going to add my onions. So what we're doing is we're going low and letting it cook slow. I have not added salt and pepper. I'm going to do that towards the end to flavor the soup. And remember one thing: when you're making soup, start off with a little salt, because you can always add more with salt. You can't take away. Hey, passengers, as you can see, it's about 10 minutes later. The onion's starting to wilt. I got a little simmer going on in the butter, and all that flavor from the onion is starting to come out. So we're going to keep letting this go. And like I said, this is something that takes a lot of patience. And here's the sad part, though. You might go into a restaurant, and when you're eating your onion soup, it might look like this. That means they didn't put the time or the effort in. I'm not saying it tastes bad. But when you see the color I'm getting at and you taste it, it's a whole nother world. All right, guys, we're about 20 more minutes in. And as you can see, the onions are really breaking down. Their tint is starting to change. And like I said, we're going to look for a nice brown color. You know, it's funny. I said that everybody loves onion soup. Well, my kid really has a good palate, and he ordered escargot and lamb chops. And this was on board the Vista. We were eating 555 Fahrenheit, and the way his eyebrows raised, I mean, because he was just turning 7 as we got on the ship. And he really does not like mac and cheese. He does not like grilled cheese, but he loves onion soup for the cheese. It's kind of ironic. So I'm going to keep cooking this down. We're waiting for that nice golden color. And then what's going to happen there is we're going to add that beef stock we made the other day. All right, passages. So as you can see, the onions are starting to get that brown color. This is when you really want to pay attention to your onions, because at a blink of an eye, they could go from brown to black. And you don't want that. All right, you see how nice and golden brown that is? I'm just going a couple of minutes more. The smell is just amazing. I can just smell the butter and the onions. And listen, don't be afraid to take an onion out with tongs, of course, or a fork. Make sure you keep changing forks. And just taste the onion and taste it at different stages. So right about now, I'm going to do my favorite thing. Julia Childs likes to cook with wine, and sometimes she puts it in the food. This is the part where I'm going to add wine to and let that cook down. So I have a cup of wine in there. I'm going to throw my thyme in. And I'm going to let this cook down for a few minutes. And then I'm going to add our stock. So the wine reduced. What I'm going to do is hit it with a little pepper. I'm going to hit it with a little salt. 2 little pinches. Give it another stir. And then I'm going to add my beef stock. So I have my beef stock in here. I'm going to let it cook, bring it up to a low boil, and then we're up to the best part of it all. Today, on my oven, I have it set to broil. While the soup is simmering, won't you please hit that like and subscribe button. All right, so our soup is ready. It's well seasoned. Like I said, be careful with the salt, because what's going to happen is as it reduces, it's going to get salty. So we're going to fill our cup up. Nice onion soup crock. On top of the soup, we're going to put the croutons that we made. I like things cheesy. So I'm going to put Swiss. I like using Swiss. You can use Gruyere. A lot of places do use Gruyere. I just like the flavor of Swiss. And I have some provolone on top. I'm going to put it in the oven under the broiler until it's melted and golden brown. Look, guys, the onion soup is ready. Are you excited? I know I am. Cheese is nice and melted, going over the sides. So until next time, keep cruising.